So let's look at the political organization of the Tumbuka Nkamanga kingdom. So this is a very, very wonderful part. So Mlowoka himself established the Tumbuka Nkamanga kingdom, as we have already pointed out. So he did that by assimilating the Tumbuka, by assimilating Tumbuka common activities, for example, religion, trade, and language. So himself, Mlowoka, he did not cling to teach the people, the indigenous people, the things that he had brought. No. So he is mixed with the Tumbuka. So in that way, it was like he brought the people together. Those people who were previously not together, then he brought them together as a trader. Then he recognized their religion, he recognized their activities and even their language to say, oh, this is a good language. So he was learning that language. So he was very clever enough. In such a way, he organized the Tumbuka by assimilating into their culture. So the Tumbuka were therefore manipulated and controlled by Walawoka in such a way. So it was like the Walawoka, they humbled themselves by mingling with the Tumbuka. But in such a way, they were so very clever that they maintained their trade. So whenever the people wanted something, they were readily available to assist the people. Hence, they won their support. So the chieftainship was created by Kakarara's son. So the chieftainship, to say the leadership, now the kingship, it was created by Kakarara's son, that is Gonapamhanya. So Gonapamhanya took the title Chikula Maembe. So the first Chikula Maembe was not Kakarara Musawira Gondwe. It was Gonapamhanya, the son of Kakarara. So he adopted that title Chikula Maembe, meaning what? The carrier or the accumulator of horse. Chikula Maembe, so the carrier of horse. So it was assumed that he adopted the title because of carrying the horse as a trader. So he was the one who brought the horse in there. So it was like him then introducing a new way of farming there. So the word chukula maembe comes from a Swahili chukua majembe. So chukua majembe, that is carrying hoes. So Gonapamhanya, he was the first chukula maembe, just as we have mentioned. So he was succeeded by Mjura. So Mjura, this one we are going to mention him to say he was the one who was killed by the Ngoni. So we'll look at that. And later on, he was, Mjura was, later on, after a long period, then he was succeeded by Chirongozi, because after Mjura was killed, then by the Ngoni, then it was like the Tumbuka kingdom now ended. So it was sometime later, that's when Chirongozi now became the new Chikula Maembe, So politically, this Chikula Maembe used clan heads, the clan heads or the chiefs, to control the kingdom. So that's what that is Chukula Maembe or Mlowoka. That's what he did. So he did that because himself he was busy with trade. Hence, he was using the local chiefs to govern the areas. So that's why we are saying that he used the local chiefs or the clan heads to govern or to control the kingdom. So Mwamlowe controlled the Lakeshore region. Katumbi, he went to Heve, and Mahenga, he was in the central Henga Valley. Remember the Henga Valley that we just mentioned? So there was Mwahenga. So that was the political organization. And economically, this Gondwe or Chikula Mayembe, he used the economic agents to control the sources of ivory and safeguard the trade routes. So their trade partners, they were the Bisa, the Yao, the Ngonde, and the Swahili. So them were their trade partners. They were exchanging their items with those people. So the economic agents were purely Valaoka, the Valaoka themselves, who managed to turn around the kingdom into commercial or a commercial entity. So Kakalala Musavira Gondwe, he was a very, very clever person, whereby he knew that he came here for trade. As such, he controlled trade using his agents. So the agents were saying they were the people whom he came with, those people whom he came with from Tanzania. So they are the ones whom he used to control different trade routes so that he stabilizes the economy of his country. So we have mentioned that the Gondwe or Musavira Gondwe, he used the clan heads or the agents to control his economy, or the clan heads or the chiefs or the agents. Now, what were the duties of these economic agents and the clan heads? So, number one, they were to collect ivory for the leader himself, that is Musavira Gondwe. And not only that, they also assisted to the leader himself in distributing the gifts. They assisted the leader to distribute the gifts. Remember, we said that Gondwe, he won the support of the local people because he was giving gifts to the people. Like he was giving hoes, he was giving the headbands to the chiefs or the clan heads. So with that, then he was assisted by the economic agents and the chiefs or the clan heads. And they were also there to settle the disputes. The disputes were also settled by the clan heads or his economic agents. And again, they were there to safeguard the trade routes, just as we have said that MALAWI was sent to the Lakeshore region, then there was Mwazisi, then Katumbi, and many others. They were sent in strategic positions where they were there to control the trade routes so that ivory or leopard skins, they were not just going out anyhow. So they did that. All those things, they were assisted by the agents. Now, let's look at the factors for the decline of the Tumbuka Nkamanga kingdom. We have seen the organization of the Tumbuka Nkamanga. Now, let's look at the decline. So there were a number of factors that led or that contributed to the decline. Number one, poor and loose political organization. So leadership was under chiefs, not the Chikula Mahembe. So this paved way for the breakaways, e.g. Katumbi and Mwahenga. At some point in time, they said, oh, now we are independent of the Chikula Mahembe. And there was no defense. So the kingdom had no standing army for defense against the external attacks. That's why when you go to from 3, you look at migration of the Ngoni. So at one point in time when the Ngoni were coming from Tanzania, they attacked and defeated the Tumbuka at Ngonga there. That's where Inkosi Amakosi Mberwa #1 was crowned. you know, this time around there is Inkosi Amakosi Mberwa number 5, but number 1 was crowned at Ngonga when they were coming from Tanzania after they defeated the Tumbuka there. So why were the Tumbuka defeated? Because they had no defense, no army for the defense. And another problem for the Loka was that this Baloka, they lost the monopoly in trade was lost. They lost that trade monopoly. So when external traders, especially the Swahili Arabs, they started trading directly with the local people, the Swahili, then they began to deal with whoever had ivory, because there were a lot of elephants in that region, in the Tumbuka Nkamanga region. As such, Walohoka or even Chikula Maembe himself, he failed to control the outlets of that ivory. Hence, the Swahili Arabs, when they were coming, they were just trading with anyone who had that ivory. So this one, it weakened the economic position of the king or the leader Chikula Maembe around 1830s. Another factor for the decline was the slave trade. So the Swahili Arabs, they brought in a lot of confusion, that is to the Chikula Maembe or the Tumbuka and Kamanga kingdom. So they thrived on confusion for their slave trade. So the Swahili Arabs, when they are coming here, they are coming solely for slave trade, because to them, the most profitable business was the slave trade. So one of the slave raiders who brought in a lot of confusion was the Mlozi bin Kazbadema. So this one was based in Kalonga. So Mlozi was based in Kalonga. So his impact area was even the Tumbuka area, where he was going there maybe to buy ivory, in the name of buying ivory. But then what was happening was this, that after buying the ivory, they wanted people to carry. Now they were saying, we want you to assist us, and we'll walk through to the coast, and there we'll pay you. So when they went there, they were selling the ivory and also selling the people. So that was total confusion that was brought by the Swahili Arabs, especially Mlozi. And another one is the Ngoni of Mberwa invasion in 1855. We have just mentioned this one to say they invaded the Tumbuka, and they even killed Chikula Maembe Mjula. He was killed. So they took some of the Tumbuka and the Walooka captives. So they took most of the people, the Tumbuka captives, after killing their leader, Chikula Maembe Mjula. So with that, then, it ended the dynasty till 1907, when the colonial government instated it. So from 1855 up to 1907, there was no Chikula Maembe. The reason was that now they were subject to the Ngoni. So it was only after the colonial government now the British colonial government had taken over this, or had declared it to say this is a British protectorate. That's when in 1907 they reinstated the Chikula Maembe dynasty to say no, there was this kingdom that was running by itself, but the coming of the Ngoni devastated it, so we are reinstating it. So they reinstated it. So Chikula Maembe Chilongozi was the one who restored to the throne as the last king, So that was Chikula Maembe Chilongozi was the one to be installed by the British. So the establishment of the British protectorate in Nyasaland, also this one, it ended authority of the kingdom. So although we are saying that in 1907 it was reinstated by the British, however, although the leadership of the Chukwulamembe was brought back, but it had not that power. It had not all that power. Why? Because all the authority was in the hands of the British. As such, there was that problem to say to run or to manage the kingdom effectively. It also depended on the authority of the British. Now, what was the impact? What was the impact of the Tumbuka Nkamanga kingdom? The impact of the Tumbuka Nkamanga kingdom on the indigenous people. So there was the introduction of the uh, centralized political system among the Tumbuka. So there was that introduction of a central point to say now they recognized someone to be the leader of them all. So they did that near Turwe Forest where the leader was there. The central political leader was living near Turwe. And also there was a promotion of trade whereby most items were involved as the area was exposed to more long distance traders such as the Swahili Arabs. So we are saying that they introduced trade in the Tumbuka area. So that was another impact. Now, what were the major weaknesses? Much as we have looked at the decline, so what were the major weaknesses of this Tumbuka and Kamanga kingdom? Number one, as mentioned, it had no defense, no army for defense. And number two, political powers were under chiefs as the king. So, as the king himself was very busy with trade, and also there was easy breakaways, some sub-chiefs they had more powers to rule and form their own kingdoms. E.g., Katumbi became independent, and Mahenga also declared independent of the Tumbuka and Kamanga or of the Chukwulamembe. So as a result, there was that those breakaways. Now to this far, we have looked at it to say the Tumbuka Kamanga kingdom was also another kingdom that was established in the northern part of Malawi. So we started with the Malawi kingdom, but here we are looking at the Tumbuka. So the Tumbuka, as you have seen it, its history is not very, very deep. Reason was that we have seen to it that the people themselves, at first the Tumbuka, original Tumbukas, they were not organized. They were only organized by the traders who came, the Walaoka. And those traders, in the course of time, they were more concerned with trade than in organizing or establishing a kingdom. As a result, it was not a very, very powerful kingdom. It was a very, somehow a weak kingdom, simply because it was only organized by the foreigners, and those foreigners, they had an aim here to make profits. So look at that. It's a great lesson as well, as mentioned earlier on. If the people within are not united, we should not expect someone from outside to unite us. So the people are always united. When they are united, then they can forge ahead. So also we have learned from the Tumbuka here that the coming of the Walaoka is when the kingdom was established. So here are some of the few questions that you have to go through. So go through these questions. So as usual, you have to go through these questions and write them somewhere. So you write them somewhere whereby you are going to scan or to take a photo and send them via the WhatsApp number. So there are a lot of questions, about 10 of them. So all these ones. Number 6 is saying what type of succession was demonstrated in the Chukwulamembe chieftaincy. So you try to attempt those questions. So try them all. So above all, there's also an essay question here. So this one, it also demands you to attempt it. So write a very good essay there. So attempt that essay so that maybe we see, and I'll give you, or I'll go through your essay and see how best you have attempted. So remember, after you have done everything, capture it using your phone, then that photo, send it via WhatsApp, just as simple as that. Then it will be for me. I'll download that one, I'll mark, then I'll do the same. I'll also capture and send you the feedback. So in so doing, we'll be interacting and on and on. So next time, as we proceed with History Form 2, we are going to look at the origins of Christianity and Islam. So this is another wonderful topic. You know, Malawi is a God-fearing country, but a God-fearing country. But the two religions that dominate in our country, they are those two, Christianity and Islam. So it is really relevant for us to know where did Christianity originate? Where did Islam originate? So that we know better. Did it originate in Malawi at Kapirintiwa? Or did it come with the Paloga? So be there so that we see where or what was the origin of Christianity. There are some today, they are so dedicated members, devoted Christians and devoted Muslims. But where did it originate? So this is yet another wonderful topic. So be there. Thank you so much for your time. Keep on learning. Gather all this information while you are in school, because this is the relevant information that you need to gather them all so that you do better during your exam. Do it now and again so that you do better. Have a wonderful time. Thank you so much.